Here the question is the rapid surge. Here we can see a question, we have to answer it. The rapid surge of which pituitary hormone triggered the rupture of mature Graafian follicle caused the release of secondary oocyte ovulation around day 14 of a standard menstrual cycle. That is luteinizing hormone LH. High estrogen level from the growing follicle trigger a shape rise in LH. Luteinizing hormone around the middle of the cycle. So LH surge induces the structural rupture of the Graafian follicle, releasing the secondary oocyte in the fallopian tube. Here we have to tell the correct electrical conducting sequence of mammalian heart starting from the generation of an auto-emitted action potential, that is from SA node to AP node, then bundle of His and then Purkinje fiber. Which of the following physical factor will actively shift the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve to the right, reducing hemoglobin affinity for oxygen and promoting the oxygen release to the tissue? That is, if there is high partial carbon dioxide, there will be higher hydrogen concentration and lower pH and higher temperature. Highly active metabolism tissue produces heat, carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion, and these conditions lower the hemoglobin affinity for oxygen, shifting the dissociation curve to the right, that is Bohr's effect, to ensure the oxygen is released where it is needed. So according to the Chagav's rule of base pairing with a double stranded DNA molecule, which of the statement is mathematically correct? So purine is equal to pyrimidine, which means A plus G is equal to T plus C. The Chagav's rule, it states that a double stranded DNA base pair, that is A is equal to T and G is equal to G is having triple bond with C. This is the total amount of the purine equal to the total number of pyrimidine, that is A plus G is equal to T plus C. So the ratio is A plus T upon G plus C, varies between different species but remain constant within a single species. Which structural components serve as a primary cementing layer holding adjacent plant cell wall together? That is composed mainly of calcium and magnesium, that is middle lamella. The middle lamella is the outermost layer formed during the plant cell cytokinin. It is made up of calcium and magnesium pectate and it acts as a structural glue to bond the neighboring cell. An ovary is described as an inferior and the flower is categorized as an epigynous when the margin of the thalamus grow upward to enclose the ovary completely, fusing with its wall. In an epigynous flower such as guava, cucumber or ray floret of the sunflower, the thalamus grows upward to ensure the fuse with the ovary wall, and the other floral structure they emerges above the ovary, that is ovary is inferior. Specialized negatively geotropic roots, they are called nematophores, emerge vertically upward from the soil to collect the atmospheric oxygen, that is mangrove plant that grow in a swampy saline wetland, that is rhizopore. Swampy waterlogged mangrove soil lacks sufficient free oxygen for root respiration to adapt the plant like rhizopore, a developing root, that is nematophore, that grow upward against the gravity using a specialized pore to absorb the atmospheric oxygen. Here there are heterospory, plant kingdom pteridophyte. This question is, the heterospory produces two distinct sizes of spore, small microspore and large megaspore, in an evolutionary precursor to the seed habitat. It is found in which of the pteridophyte genera, that is Selaginella and Salvinia, while most primitive pteridophyte are homosporous that produce a uniform type of spore. The advanced genera like Selaginella and Salvinia, they are heterosporous, because here the female gametophyte inside the parent sporophyte tissue represent a key evolutionary step toward the seed development. Next is methanogenetic archaebacteria are strictly anaerobic microbes found abundantly in the gut of several ruminant animal like cows and buffalo. What do they produce? They produce methane gas for the cellulosic organic waste matter. According to the mass flow of pressure flow hypothesis of phloem transport, organic solute travel through the sieve tube driven by a hydrostatic pressure gradient created between the photosynthetic source of storage sinkage. Active loading of sugar in the sieve tube as a source make the cell hypertonic, drawing water in and creating a high turgor pressure. At the sink, the sugar are removed, lowering the turgor pressure, and this pressure difference drives the mass movement of sap through the phloem. Next is, which of the following set of the structural feature correctly characterize animal belonging to the class chondriocytes? That is the ventral mouth, then placoid scale, absence of the air bladder, must swim constantly to avoid the sinking. The chondriocytes, they are the like shark and ray. They have a ventral mouth and a flexible cartilaginous skeleton and skin that cover in shape. They lack the swim bladder, so they cannot regulate buoyancy hydrostatically and must swim continuously to keep them from sinking. In plant breeding program, what is the term that is used to describe the entire collection of plants or seed, showing all the possible diverse allele for all gene within a given crop? That is the germplasm collection. The foundational step of any crop genetic improvement program is evaluated naturally diversity, that is gathered all the wide relative variety and cultivations of the crops to preserve the diverse alleles, that is germplasm collection. Then chromosome number 21, that is your Down syndrome. Down syndrome is an autosomal genetic abnormality caused by the non-disjunction of chromosomal 21 that result into the 47 trisomy. It is caused physically and mentally. Development relay a broad face, flat face, and a distinct furrowed tongue. Next is the industrial melanism phenomena observed in the moth, Western Betullaria population across England after the Industrial Revolution serve as a strong evidence for the directional natural selection favor the dark phenotype. Before industrialization, light color moth blend into the white lichen covering the tree trunk. Industrial sort killed the lichen and darkened the bark, making the light moth easily targeted for the bird. And natural selection, it favored the melanic mutant, which hid the safety against the sort and grew to dominant population. Now, which one of the following eukaryotic membrane bounded cellular organelle is correctly matched with the primary biosynthetic function? That is the Golgi apparatus, that is pairing with the glycosylation of lipid and protein. The Golgi apparatus process and modify newly synthesized component from the ER, and it serves as a primary site for generating the glycoprotein and glycolipid through the glycosylation before packaging them into the secretory vessel. Here, and from the animal kingdom, this question is the metagenesis, the clear alteration of generation between the asexual polyp phase and the sexual medusa phase is characteristic biological property in Obelia. While Hydra lack the medulla phase, Arulina, it is primarily the medusa, and the Hydrozoa Obelia demonstrate true metagenesis. So it is sessile and colonial polyps producing free swimming medusa asexually, and these medusa then reproduce sexually to form the new polyps. Next is, which one of the following microbial species is used to mass produce stains in the blood cholesterol lowering the agent that competitively inhibit cholesterol synthesis in enzyme, that is the Monascus purpureus, that is stains that are commonly blood cholesterol lowering agent producing by the fermenting the yeast Monascus purpureus. They act by the competitive inhibitor HMG coenzyme A reductase and the rate limiting enzyme responsible for synthesizing the cholesterol in the liver. Which component of the human immune system provide localized physiological protection to a newborn infant, while antibodies present in the mother's earlier colostrum breast milk, that is IgA passive immunity. Colostrum contains high concentration of secretory IgA antibodies. Delivering preformed protective antibodies from the mother to the child provide immediate defense, which is classified as natural passive immunity. which what is the correct cell configuration of fully functional mature monosporic polygonium type of embryonic sac in angiosperm, that is 7 cell and 8 nuclei. A functional megaspore undergo 3 sequential mitotic divisions to create 8 nuclei. These sort is into 3 antipodal cells at the chelazal end and 3 cell egg apparatus, that is 1 egg and 2 synergids at the micropylar end, and the single large central cell contain 2 polar nuclei, and which result in 7 cell and 8 nuclei structure. Which microscopic layer of microsporangium wall possesses prominent fibrous callose thickening and plays a key role in mechanical dehiscence of mature anther, that is endothecum. Endothecum is located directly below the outer epidermis. The cell develops specialized fibrous band of the alpha cellulose, and as the anther dries out, these hygroscopic cells lose the moisture and shrink unevenly, which tears open the pollen sac along the stromium to release the mature pollen grain. A non-protein organic chemical compound that bind tightly to an enzyme, apoenzyme protein part to make it catalytic active is defined as a coenzyme. An active conjugated enzyme, holoenzyme, consists of a protein framework called the apoenzyme that combine with the non-protein cofactor, and after the apoenzyme and coenzyme they are combined, when the cofactor it is translated bound organic molecules such as NAD or NADP, it is specific categorized as coenzyme. Biomagnification refers to an increase in the concentration of toxic and non-biodegradable pollutions across successive tropical level, which organism will show the highest level of DDT in aquatic food chain, that is fish eating birds, top carnivorous. Toxic chemicals like DDT and mercury cannot be metabolized or excreted by living tissues, so energy move up the food chain. These poison become increasingly concentrated at each level, resulting in highly toxic accumulation in top carnivores like fish eating eagles. Here there is a graph given and we have to tell whether which of the following graph depicts the effect of the substrate concentration on velocity of enzyme catalyzed reaction. So here the correct answer is A, the hyperbolic curve that is rising and approaching the Vmax. Here we can see the graph. So A is correct answer. Next question is, when will the population density increase under special condition? Option A, death exceeding number of births and also number of e-migrant equal number of I-migrants. Birth plus number of I-migrants equal to the number of death plus number of e-migrants. Here the correct answer is option B. The second option is correct here. The birth plus number of I-migrants, that is equal birth number is equal to the death rate, number of death plus the e-migrants. So B is correct option. When a tall pea plant is with the round seed was selved, it was producing the progeny of option A, tall plant with round seed and tall plant with wrinkle seed. Option B, tall plant with round seed and dwarf plant with wrinkle seed. Here we get the answer the A, that is correct, where when a tall pea plant, if we cross with a tall pea plant with round seed, it is selved and it will produce a progeny of tall plants with round seeds and tall plant with wrinkle seed. Direct answer. Here you have to observe the given figure and identify the different stages labeled with an alphabets by selecting the correct order. So here in this diagram there is given A is carboxylation, B is reduction and C is regeneration. There is a match the pairs here, the predator, mutualism, parasitism and sexual deceit. So here D is pairing with the 4, that is plasmodium. Female wasp and fig, that is 3, that is pairing with the parasitism. Mutualism it is pairing with the 1, that is operets, and predator, that is pisaster. A is pairing with 2. Next, against One more match the pair joining between the humerus and pectoral girdle. It is the hinge joints, and B is the knee joint that is pairing with the gliding joint. So B is pairing with 1 and C that is pairing with the 2, second option, ball and socket joint, and D joints between the carpals that is pairing with the pivot joint 4. D is pairing with 4. Next, here we have to tell the steps that are involved in the action of the toxin in Bt cotton. So there the sequence, the correct option here is B option, that is B, then C, then A, and then E, and then D. Here you have to match the list 1 with the list 2. So here the biodiversity hotspot, it is matching with the Western Ghats, then Sacred Groves, that is matching with the Jentala Hills and Meghalaya, and the South Africa Johannesburg, that is matching with the World Summit on Sustainable Development 2002. And Parthenium, we know that is an invasive species, that is an alien species. Now moving on to the next question. So here we have to pair the primary structure of protein, that is pairing with the polypeptide chain, then secondary structure of protein, that is pairing with the alpha helix and beta sheet, then tertiary structure, that is pairing with the disulfide bond, and quaternary structure, that is pairing with the human hemoglobin. So here the list 1 is the protein structure and the examples. Here in the match the pair, the F1 particle, it is matching with the mitochondria, fourth option. So these particle, also known as the oxonema, they are the part of the ATP synthesis complex that are located in the inner mitochondria, and they are responsible for the ATP synthesis. Whereas the histone 1, that is pairing with the chromosome, where histone, they are basic protein that provide a structural support to the chromosome by allowing the DNA to wrap around them, forming the nucleosome. Whereas exonema, that is pairing with the cilia. Cilia, the exonema, is the central microtubule-based core of the cilia and flagella, typically arranged in 9+2 pattern. And cisternae, that is pairing with the Golgi apparatus, because they are flattened membrane-bounded sac that are made up of the stack-like structure in the Golgi apparatus. So here the correct answer is B. Here the chiasma formation, that is pairing with the diplotin. During the diplotin stage, the synaptonemal complex dissolved, causing the homologous chromosome to separate. And however, they remain physically attached at a specific point where crossing over occurred, creating visible X-shaped structure called the chiasmata. And crossing over, it is pairing with the pachytene, where recombinant nodule formed during the pachytene stage. Then synaptonemal complex is pairing with the zygote, and terminalization of the chiasma, that is the dikinesis, that is the final step of the prophase 1. So here the gene pool is the total number of gene in an allele. So gene pool A is matching with 4, and genetic drift is a change in the genetic frequency by chance, that is B is equal to the 2. Then gene flow is the transfer of gene into or out of the population, that is C is pairing with 3. And D, gene frequency, that is stable without a generation. So D is pairing with 1. Which evolutionary phenomena is depicted by given in the figure? So here the answer is convergent evolution. Enzyme that catalyze the removal of the group from the substrate by a mechanism other than hydrolysis, leaving the double bond, that is a ligase. Copper releasing IOD, here the correct answer is D, that is A is pairing with 2, copper IOD is pairing with multiloader 372 here. Then B is pairing with 4, C is pairing with 1, and D is pairing with 3. Here both the statements are correct. Antibiotics are chemical produced by the microbes that kills other microbes, and antibiotics are the chemical form in the body that eliminate the microbes. In the light of the above statement, both are correct. Here the B option is correct. The person with the blood group AB Rh negative can receive the blood transfusion from which one of the following, that is AB Rh negative, A, B, C and D only. A person with RAB-RH blood group can safely receive the blood from any Rh negative donor. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe BioMindscape.